Welcome to the Twist Podcast, number 187. This is Mark McNease. Where am I, Rick?
You would be in rural New Jersey.
Rural New Jersey. And you're in urban Madison, Wisconsin.
Right on the verge. Although it is Sun Prairie School District, just so you know. I'm in election mode, so I got to know where I'm at all the time.
And yes, and we're both dressed for the show now because we're putting them on YouTube again.
Yeah,
I like it. It's fun. It is labor intensive. I mean, because the audio is never the same. I got to take the audio off and remix it and put it back on. It's a certain amount of work, but we're worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, for sure. I thought you meant it took a minute to choose your wardrobe and get dressed, because I'm like, if that's the case, we might want to rethink this.
No, but I mean, we're not doing any. You know what I mean? You could wear anything or nothing on the show because nobody saw us.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can't go back in time. You just got to go forward. Not going back to those days with half outfits, right? Yeah, you know what I just did, Mark? This is so stupid. I was kind of ready for the show for a change. Usually I'm texting Mark, I need 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I know. I'm shocked that we're starting sort of on time.
Oh, did you push the button? Because last week you forgot to record.
No, we're recording. I didn't make that mistake again.
But I had my coffees and my teas. Well, no coffees because I put my matcha tea and my white tea or whatever I'm drinking there, peppermint tea, all ready to go. And I was like, well, I have to, not quite ready. I have to run upstairs, get some. I had put on a shirt, okay? Just saying. So I covered it with a coaster because that's what you should do. But look, I realized that my coasters are cut like the fleur-de-lis because, I lived in Louisiana. And so it really kind of defeated the purpose. It's like putting a square in a circle. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, I thought that was a Girl Scout cookie for a second there. And Frank did buy some yesterday because I am all about the Girl Scouts. I love the Girl Scouts. And they've been under attack. People will scream at a child, because they're upset that the Girl Scouts accept transgender girls or whatever the hell it is. But I love the Girl Scouts, man. They rock.
And their cookies are good, too.
Oh, especially after some Doritos. Make a nice little aperitif.
Why can't they
I'll shut up about the Doritos. Don't eat the dust in the bottom, though, folks. Don't make that mistake. I thought it was just... Oh, my God, Rick. I was like, I got to take a break from this.
This show is not endorsed by Cannabis USA.
It's explicit, where it's for adults. And it's legal in New Jersey.
Nothing but it's legal. Hey, today's big birthdays today. 79th birthday to jazz RB and guitarist, RB guitarist George Benson, born in Philadelphia.
Awesome.
William Shatner's big birthday is today, Mark. How many years do you think?
I'm going to say, oh, my God, 86.
Oh, no, 91.
Oh, wow. By the way, I got to tell you a Jeopardy story. Go ahead. Who else's birthday?
Yeah, well, just a couple other birthdays. And just one more big one for us who are into this stuff. Andrew Lloyd Webber is 74. So you're right about the age, wrong person.
Sir Andrew.
Sir Andrew, famous for Cats, the Phantom of the Opera. Oh, shout out to Martha, who used to work for Sir Andrew. Martha.
Oh, Martha Ashton. Wow, cool.
Oh, yes, sir. She used to be your neighbor, remember?
Yes, and I did get to go out to dinner with her before we left New York, so that was fun.
That's good. How weird is that, guys? I have two incredibly great friends. Well, I have many, many incredibly great friends. And they end up living in the same building together in New York City.
I know. She was like two floors below me. I had a better apartment for a better price, but that's New York. You know what I mean?
Yep.
By the way, the birthday thing made me think last night on Jeopardy. The final Jeopardy question was who had released an album in 2021 at the age of 95 and was the oldest person to put out new material. Yeah, but these contestants are at least half our age, if not younger.
That's
two of them said Diana Ross. And I thought Diana's going to hear about this, man. They thought she was 95 years old.
Oh my God, hilarious! Oh my God, that is so funny.
Nothing wrong with being 95. And entertainment stuff. By the way, because William Hurt died.
Give the answer to that real quick, Mark. It was Tony Bennett. For those that are young,
it was Tony Bennett. Yeah, I mean Frank guessed it, but anyways, not Diana Ross. Oh, just that William Hurt was a controversial. I just want to say that because he died last week, and it was like, oh, William Hurt, what a loss. But he has had numerous accusations, including from Marlee Matlin, who was in a relationship with him, that he had a lot of anger issues. Let's just leave it at that. So not everybody's, you know what I mean?
I hear you. Sorry.
And addiction problems. I think they go hand in hand a lot of times.
I agree. And by the way, my cough was not commentary on what you just said.
No, it was. I mean, do I pay attention? I don't know.
I don't know. Serious stuff, though, Mark. It is.
Half the time I look up and you're not there.
Mark. I need a tea refill.
But I told you when we started that people are going to see us now. So like when one of us just vanishes, they're going to go like, what kind of show is this? What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is this? But we were not one of the 20 queer podcasts in BuzzFeed, which is okay
What?
because,
What?
No, my friend Brad's podcast, Queer Writers of Crime, which I'm interviewing for on tomorrow. I'll be interviewed on that. But anyways, he was on there. I was really happy for him. But we don't have the word queer in our title. We don't have the LGBT. The only way you're going to know that we're super gay is if you listen to us. So,
Mark. Maybe. Never mind.
And also, we do have a lot of listeners. We have a decent audience. So I'm not jealous. I'm just putting it out there, folks. Top 20 lists. They're just all lists. It's always subjective. You always think somebody should be on there. I got one for you today where they left somebody off, and I'm like outraged.
Well, no, I get it. I really don't care because the reality is I'm here for the peeps that are listening to us and that are sharing this with other people.
They love us.
They do. And we have some new peeps joining the group. I'll talk about them a little later. And so because of that, I guess for the first time ever playing the show, I felt pressure writing it and kind of outlining it yesterday. And then I procrastinated, and then the Doritos stuff, all this stuff came into play. I finally got to bed like at 2 a.m, and before you know it, I had to wake up to podcast. So I can't worry.
And if they love the show, we welcome. We love being cups of coffee. You can buy buy me a cup of coffee. Just go to the website markmcnease.com or the twistpodcast.com. It goes to the same site, and there's a little buy me a coffee on there. $5.
It's kind of like a wink, guys. Mark's really not going to use it for coffee. He's going to use it for the operating cost of.
Oh, yeah. It's a thing that people put on their websites. Because back in the day, we're getting sidetracked. With PayPal, you couldn't put a donation button on your website because it was not technically a donation. Right. You're not a 551 corporate, whatever the fuck it is, a nonprofit. So they clamped down on that. But you can do cup of coffee where they just, at $3 even, you buy somebody. I've done it for a couple of people that I liked what they were doing, so I gave them threw $5 in the coffee till.
It's kind of like that Patreon thing. I've been talking to friends about it this week, kind of exploring it. You know what that is? Like that website, and you have bonus content, and then people pay to subscribe to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I do know about that. I'd love to do that. I just can't think of surprise content. Now we got to keep moving.
But speaking of which, the loyalty of our fans. Last week was daylight savings time. We talked about it on last week's show. That day we talked about it. Apparently,
yes, isn't that wild?
Bill, right, it went to Congress
the same day, and I hope it was unanimous in the Senate. I really want the House to pass it. I want Biden to sign it soon. Right. And then the scientists are saying they're doing it backwards. It should be standard time that they make permanent, but I don't really care. And I like daylight. I like daylight saving time. I like it because, like I said, I get up a little bit later, and I like having why make the day shorter? Anyways, right. I want daylight saving time. I just wanted to get it done. That
was interesting, wasn't it? That kind of just happened,
They must have heard us.
They must.
I think everybody in the Senate listens to the show.
I
voted that as soon as it was over.
Well, then let's talk about the penny, because lately that's been up my cog. It costs 2.06 cents to make a penny.
Pennies are ridiculous. Get rid of the pennies, please.
Well, then I dug deeper into this. It costs 7.53 cents to make a nickel. So every year, guys, we're losing like 100. I don't know. We're losing up to 85 million for pennies and 33.5 million for nickels. Why are we doing this?
Get rid of them. I'm ready for a cashless society.
Oh man, I would love that.
Because we're almost there.
I think we are too. Well, but it's interesting you say that because Joni Ernst, I think she's currently the governor of Iowa, but at one point she was senator, or vice versa. She did try to make a law saying let's replace the metal with something else that'll bring the cost down. So I just don't think you need to produce pennies in court. And like you said, that's just
stupid. I don't like change in my pocket anyways. Okay, we ready for what's new?
Yeah, well, that kind of was. No, I have some. Yes, what's new, Mark? Share about your life here.
Well, it's March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Ouch.
So I want to put that out there because my brother has had that. He's cancer free for now, but it's a thing. I'm getting a colonoscopy this year. I have to have them every 3 years, mostly because the doctor said I'm full of shit. Ba-boom. Bam! Ba-bang! Drum. What do you call it? The drum roll. Okay.
Now you can't add it because you can't have a drum roll sound effect and then a
No,
fake
I'm
sound.
not going to add it. I don't have time for that. I mean, come on. If people
Yeah,
want to
really.
buy us a lot of coffee, we could hire some staff.
We're thirsty and we need staff. Yeah, my friend Jay, I won't give her name, but she had her colonoscopy yesterday because she's in her 50s now, and I'm proud of her for going to do it.
Yeah, I'm getting it done. 5 weeks from Saturday, we're doing the countdown. Is my last day, in the full time position. I'm going back to the deli later on, but I'm not. I don't want to talk about it again. But 5 weeks from this coming Saturday, I will be doing a retirement cupcake something at work, and leaving full time work. By the way, here's what's new with me. I went to the periodontist yesterday. They cleaned. It's a long story. I didn't want to go to my regular dentist because she refused to do it like a year and a half ago and said, you have to see a periodontist. I can't clean your teeth. So I did, and I liked the perio. But I just went straight to them this time because I wasn't going to deal with that crap. And they cleaned my teeth, which is good. But then they told me as I'm leaving that they don't take MetLife anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and they charged me what they would charge MetLife, which was $100. It's no big deal. And MetLife will apparently reimburse for the cleaning, even though it's even though it's out of network. But do you think? Here's a poll for our listeners: is it okay for any provider to knowingly give you a service and then tell you that they are not in your insurance plan?
Ooh.
I went to this periodontist. I was not a new patient. So I paid it. Frank was all like, he would have gone off on him and ballistic and shit. But I said, listen, it was $100. I think I'm going to get it back from MetLife. But I said, I'm not going back because they want me to have more work done. And I'm not doing that.
That's crazy. Do you think it was set up to be that way? No.
Well, I noticed the receptionist, if that's what they're called now, she was really nervous talking to me as I was checking out. And I thought, I bet you they have people going off on them. Because you really need to tell, because they knew it. It's not like this; they didn't know this. They knew it. They told me as I was paying the bill. So, why don't you tell me before I get here?
Right, because they know.
But by the way, she said my teeth were really, really in good shape. In terms of taking care of them, I only have like half a mouth of real teeth.
Yeah.
But I take good care of them, and that was really made me happy. And then the only other thing that's new is that I'm recording audiobook edition of Paper Hearts, my short story, Marshall James thriller. I'm going to put it out on my podcast, Mark McNease Mysteries podcast, where I narrate, mostly narrate my own work. There's some other narration on there from other people, but so that's kind of what's new with me.
That's awesome, Mark. Yeah, I took it easy this weekend a little bit. I mean, my election stuff, not so new, but it will soon be old news after April 5th when the election happens. So I had a 4-month Sunday night, which was interesting. It was the East Side Progressives here in town. 8 questions, couldn't be prepared for it. You you didn't know the questions, but it was fun. Also, I've been talking a lot to friends about this thing about staying in, and I think I shared that earlier with you before we started the show. Been working from home. I just the volume of people out there. My friend Amy nailed this. She said, Rick, I think it's because we got spoiled to go into the theaters without anybody, or sometimes it felt like you were in a ghost town driving on the streets. And we kind of learned to those of us that are more on the introspective or the, introverted side, we kind of liked it. And so going back into it, it's been harder and harder. But I did, went to a little tea party with our new friends that are now listening to the show. That'd be Sarah and Connor and Misty. Yes, 2 Connors, one with an OR, one with an ER. Or I could have said like Sarah Connor. You know who that is? That's like a character from
Terminator.
Yeah, so Sarah Connor Misty. We talked a lot about like rock climbing, and they were explaining too. 2 of them are major rock climbers, and they were saying, during COVID, everybody went to the rock climbing gyms, and they kind of exploded here in Madison. And so you're trying to get away from people in your face. Then when the doors reopen and people are out and about doing things on the real rocks, everybody's out there. So it was an interesting, engaging conversation about what it's like when your sport blows up and what it is when you're going for solitude and it's anything but solitude. You know what I mean? And then one other thing I did, which was really nice, went out with my friend Zoe and Nicole and Renee. Congratulations on 1 year. They stopped in. Good friends of mine met a year ago through me and through some other mutual friends. And they're still going strong, Mark. So that makes me feel good.
Very nice.
And then one last thing, going to see Prom on stage. Now, I didn't like it on Netflix. But my friend Patty invited me to go out tonight to my favorite little restaurant called Rare, then head across the street to the Overture Center and see Prom. You did not like it on Netflix either, did you?
We didn't finish it. We watched like 10 minutes of it.
What do you think the real stage show is going to be like?
It can't be worse.
No, I would hope it's only better. It was written by Ryan.
Gosling. Oh my God, he's hot.
No, not Gosling. Ryan
Reynolds. Oh my God, he's hot.
The gay guy, and he's
Ryan Ryan Murphy.
I sure hope he's not listening.
Wait till I get my list. You get to my listicle. I'm just in that mood today.
Oh, that's great. No, and I will. To tease the show, we're gonna do some great things. We're gonna move on with the show, but great listicles. But I'm also gonna talk about Ryan Murphy's newest project a little later that relates to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh my God, no! A musical. A Jeffrey Dahmer musical.
They're doing a freaking series with the mama from the Waltons, Michael Learned, playing his grandmother.
Oh my God! Speaking of thinking Diana Ross was 95, how old is Michael Learned?
I don't think she's as old as you think.
But I love it that her name is Michael. I really like that.
Do you? You know what I like? I like that she's learned.
She's learned, like learned hand.
Learned hand. And then before we move on to the show, though, we haven't done this in the show, but just if we could take a quick moment of silence, it doesn't have to be long, for two friends that I lost yesterday. Here's to Rick Lapke and Cliff Crabtree. All right, Mark, let's get on with the show.
By the way, I said to Frank at dinner last night, because I'm a part of the Friends and Artists Theater Ensemble Facebook page. Now, that theater has been defunct for many, 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 many years. But the group of us who were there, in the late 80s, they do have a Facebook page. But anyways, a couple of people's friends have passed away. And I said to Frank, when you get into your 60s, that's what happens. Uh-huh. Originally your parents go, and then you're next in line. Your siblings start to go. And then people that you knew, like every week somebody I knew from Fate is dying. And it's just age. It's just the process of life and living long enough for these things to happen. But I was aware of it. It's like, okay, where we're at the front of the line. That's just the way it is.
And that's where I'm at, Mark. And I totally get it. It is part of the process. I do talk about it in therapy. And I wouldn't trade having these wonderful people in our lives, knowing someday they are going to be gone. And like you said, we're just not the next step yet. But yeah, fate's how you and I met. So let's say whoop to that.
Whoop-oo, bing, bing. Headlines.
And Mark, just so you know, everybody, I'm going to walk away and grab my bell. But Mark takes it away. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. And half my headlines are good news. Or happy news. So here's my headlines. Nearly 240 anti-LGBTQ bills have been filed in 2022 so far, most of them targeting trans people. But don't let that fool you. Like half of them are not targeting trans people. There are things like the Don't Say Gay bills and restrictions. And it was an interesting read because in 2018 there were 41 bills, anti-LGBTQ bills, filed in 2018, and now there were 240 just in the first 3 months of 2022. We are under assault. I hope people stay aware of that. I'm not going to live in like terror and panic, but we've always been a political punching bag for the right and religious conservatives, always, and they're really on a tear. So stay aware. Maury Povich confirmed that he's retiring after 31 years on air. I'll be honest with you, I never really watched the show, but still, he's been on there forever. So it's like almost like losing a friend that you never knew. Why you should always take a photo of your stove before you go on vacation. Rick, I'd ask you if you knew the answer to this, but you're not there. So this was, are you there?
Yeah, I am, and I don't know why. Why, Mark?
Because you know how we obsess? Did I turn the stove off? The stove off? Take a picture of the stove before you leave the house for your trip. And then you can look at it and say, oh, I turned the stove off.
Good.
Montana Airport called the cops on Ted Cruz. He freaked out about something happened and he missed his flight. And they told him he was too busy to rebook it, whatever. But he freaked out, and they called the cops on him. Republicans get away with this shit. They always do. And white people and Republicans. It's not the same because I do know lots of white Democrats, but they really get away with this shit. Happy news. Most of my stuff's happy news. Even as the vicious MAGA minority continues to, you're like how I write things out.
Yes.
Even as the vicious MAGA minority, I love alliteration too, continues to attack queer lives, polls show a majority of Americans support anti-discrimination laws to protect LGBTQ people. But that's also, a majority, Republicans know their policies are unpopular. That's why they've done what they've done with the courts. And also 70% of Americans support marriage equality. But that won't stop them from coming after it. Okay, on with my happy news. I got more here. I just got to flip my pages.
That's interesting.
Nice long show today. I hope people they're on the road for a while.
It's not going to be extra long.
All right. Conspiracy theorist teacher was fired for saying LGBTQ people have the, quote, DNA of Satan. That was in London, somewhere in Britain. That was one of my happy things because the teacher got fired. Good. A U.S. judge ruled against Kentucky clerk Kim Davis, who denied same-sex marriage licenses. This chick goes back 10 years.
Way back.
Not 10 years, but back when they first passed marriage equality, the Supreme Court. A U.S. judge ruled that former county clerk from Kentucky, Kim Davis, violated the rights of same-sex couples by denying them marriage licenses in 2015, clearing the way for a jury trial seeking damages against her. Excellent.
That's crazy.
Here's my last one. Made me happy. California bill would protect transgender children who receive gender-affirming health care. I love California. Thank you. Protect trans kids and their families. And that made me happy.
That should have made you happy. Love it, Mark. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I'm going to lead into some good news. Starting with, I had given a little teaser earlier about Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Like I said, Mike Learned's playing in it. It's going to be an interesting cast. Nonetheless, it'll be on Netflix. Ryan Murphy is bringing it to the screen. He had 17 victims. I shouldn't even go on, but Evan Peters, Richard Jenkins, Penelope Ann Miller are all in the 17. Cast. Yeah, and I'm proud to report that he's from Milwaukee, as you know, an hour from here. But yeah, so they're making this.
Well, I thought that was a rendering factory.
Mark, he's on fire. Sometimes it may be a little inappropriate.
Yes, and they meant like what? I hope that goes over people's heads. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to make up for that because here's a story to show our responsibility. A new controller that works using head and tongue movements, kind of strap it on like a pair of glasses, if you look at the picture, or like a CPAP machine. It's one of the only options for patients with paralysis to not only control their own power wheelchairs, but to use smartphones and computers. Very unique. We've seen a lot of people with autism that are using their mouth to write or their thought process, but this now is allowing you, it's a controller people that live with paralysis can place and help them do those things that they weren't able to do before. Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Yeah, Georgia Tech is responsible for that. Kelly Clarkson will not sing on her new show. Won't be the Kelly Clarkson show either, as you know. She's replacing Ellen DeGeneres' time slot. But
it's going to be her show.
It is, I think.
It's not going to be the Ellen DeGeneres show featuring Kelly Clarkson.
Well, no, but she's changed her last name, so maybe it'll just be the Kelly.
Kelly.
She won't sing. A signature of her current.
As opposed to the other one that I don't like, Kelly and what's his name, Ryan.
The Kelly and Ryan show.
Haven.
Not a famous, not a thing. She's on fire though. She's taking it back, changing her name, forced her husband, openly sued him or whatever she had to do to get whatever. I don't know. But last night she launched her new NBC show called American Song Contest, which is kind of like.
Is she off The Voice?
She's still on The Voice too.
Oh, okay. All right.
She can do it all. I wonder, I got to reach out to one of our listeners, Charlie. He loves Eurovision, and I have to see if he was following this new show because who knows if it's good or bad. But she's on it. Also, there's discussion about her playing Dolly Parton in the new Dolly Parton movie that's coming.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it is. Well, Dolly was going to open this show on Broadway, but she said it's not the responsible thing to do, so let's make a movie. There's some discussion that Dolly may play herself in later years. But then there'd be other versions of her, and that would include who we just said there, Kelly Clarkson possibly playing her. It would be interesting. And then there was a guy that discovered her. She apparently appeared on his TV show. Oh, by the way, Kristen Chenoweth is someone that may also play Dolly. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
But anyway, the guy that had the TV show is kind of this, dressed loud and everything. I can't think of his name, but he may be played by Jim Carrey in the movie, so that'll be interesting. He's the one that kind of discovered her and put her on TV.
Interesting.
eBay is doing this new thing. It's called. They're attracting luxury consumers market. And they actually built a 31,000 square foot facility. And what happens is it's to encourage people of high level collecting, like people that buy Rolexes and stuff. And so they basically put it in storage there. So some of these people buying them and are just trading them back out, so they'll never even own the watch. So instead of all the shopping and shipping that goes back and forth, it'll just be housed at the center. And then if someone finally wants the final item, they do it. Kind of interesting. And then they're offering a program to kind of make sure these things are valid and legit as well. So I found that interesting. And then two other stories. Coda, the movie I talked about last week's episode, if you haven't listened to it, you can find it in our archives, won the PGA award mark for
Parental Guidance Associated
Producers Guild of America.
Okay.
For best film. Speaking of parental guidance, it looks like Amanda Bynes is removing her face tattoo before she goes to her first court appearance to end her conservatorship. She's following the boots of Jessica.
Amanda Bynes, wasn't she on Married with Children?
No, that was no.
That was okay. Never mind.
No. Oh, you're talking about the lesbian that was on there.
Yeah,
that also...
Okay, never mind. Forget it.
I don't know. She's like this kid actor kind of thing, Yeah, forget
All
it.
right.
But she is. And then lastly, what is it going to do? What was it going to tell you? Oh, just reading good stories from the New York Times, The Morning. I get that email every morning. Do you get that, Mark?
No.
It's a good one. They had two in-depth articles. One was really titled, "The Biden Administration is Facing an Old Cold War Dilemma. Be Weak or Risk a World War." And we never think of that side of it, that fine balancing act with what's going on. You have to be
I think
strong.
about it because I know a lot of people who they want our soldiers in Ukraine,
Right.
and we got to help these people. But I'm like, not if you don't want to risk,
Exactly.
incinerating Philadelphia. I don't know.
Well, very true. I mean, we have the power to do that now. You got to watch it. You can't just get angry
and you get these crazy motherfuckers like Putin's nuts, and Trump is nuts. I mean, someday Kim Jong-un, one of these nut jobs is going to drop a nuke. I know it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I agree with you. And the other really great one they issued was called A Fragile Peace. This came out the other morning. Basically, the headline is, "Good morning." Always a great way to lead to bad news, right? China is watching Russia's invasion of Ukraine closely. Some discussion of them moving into Taiwan. When the island split off from the mainland in 1949, they weren't happy about it. So apparently China is watching Russia's playbook. Isn't that weird?
Yes, and I have Jem, my late partner, his half-sister lived in Taiwan. She's probably still there. But I'm very pro-Taiwan.
Oh, that's crazy. And then lastly, in the good news, this is a piece that was written by a woman who is an LGBTQ writer. It was for the LGBTQ Nation. If you haven't gone to that website, it's titled "Most Texans Would Agree That the Future is really effing queer." And she goes on to say, if you take a vote, many of us are in Texas because we love it. We're not going to leave it. And when you really get down to it, she's saying there are studies reporting that 70% of Texans of many different political persuasions actually believe that what's going on is pure discrimination of the LGBT community. So let's hope that people do rally together and fight the system. It's a good article by Fiona Dawson, Mark. So there you go.
Fiona, thank you.
So the good news is that people are writing and talking about it. I'm listening to Mark McNease advocate for our rights.
Big boo, big booyah.
Big boo.
Followed by the twist tops and listicles as we alternate. So my big boo it is unfolding in real time. It's the coming Republican attacks on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now, before I say a little bit about it, I know because Tucker Carlson was making fun of her name and shit. And I said, if you think pronouncing Ketanji Brown Jackson is difficult, try saying Rance Priebus. I don't even know how you pronounce that name.
Oh,
Rance Priebus. Rance Priebus. Rinse that Priebus right out of my hair.
And he's from Wisconsin. He's a friend of my brother's, so
that's fine. But white people got some weird ass fucking names too. So just stop it with the. To me, it's completely racist when you make fun of a black person's name. That's nothing. That's straight up racist shit. Because I know some white people name Lonely Twig and crap like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really, but you know where I'm going with it.
I totally agree.
Orthel. What the
Yeah.
fuck is Orthel?
I mean, or Aldo, right?
Or they get these Bible names, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Oh yeah, those I could never even touch. But to your point, that is a big boo. That's disgusting.
It's a big boo because led by Josh Hawley, who's nothing but a grandstanding, despicable human being, as so many of them are. But they're trying to get this child predator crap in there because she followed sentencing guidelines, whatever the cases are. It's completely being taken out of context. And by the way, everyone in this country is entitled to a defense. I have a lawyer friend who feels very much that way too. She's defended people who were accused of child abuse. And anyways, they're going after her on this kitty shit, which is typical of. They're going after everybody on the kitty shit. The don't say gay bills. All this crap is all about protecting children when it has nothing to do with protecting children. So they will attack Ketanji. She's gonna tough it out. She's gonna be the first black woman on the Supreme Court, and I cannot wait.
Yay!
My big booyah is. Which is the good news. It was just one little thing. There was I don't know if you saw it, the video. There was a lone the trucker convoy is in Washington.
No,
I call them a clown convoy, even though I try to. My sister's very supportive of them. One of my sisters, and I did say to myself, okay, Mark, if they were all like rainbow trucks with rainbow flags and they were doing truckers for equality, I'd completely support them. So I don't want to be hypocritical about it. I don't want to, you know what I mean. I want to be fair, but I did love it. That was one little guy on a bicycle in a bike lane, and all these trucks were stuck behind him. And I read that somebody drove up next to him and said, you got all these trucks behind you. And he just said, I can't hear you. So that's awesome. Loved it.
That's great.
Your turn.
Speaking of the things we said too, I should point out that Grisham, who was the spokesperson for President Trump, she came out. She was on a panel, I think, where Whoopi and that whole group on The View were talking about all the anti-gay stuff. And this was last week, I think. And she came out and said, I'm embarrassed. She said, this is something that's personal to me. And you bring up a good point because of my former boss. This is partly at play here. And she said she has a 14-year-old son who is gay, and he recently came out. And she has her permission to talk about him. And she said it really got her as a mom and made her start to do an apology to her about having chosen to work for Donald Trump, because he said he didn't want to even tell his friends where his mom worked or what she did. And that's sad,
Yeah.
So anyway, big boo, Mark. So I was with my friend drinking tea, acting all British in that, while we were doing mostly
Damn British. Go ahead.
Damn Brits. And we started talking about the Victorians and how brutal that era was. So a big boo to the Victorians. I mean, they came in the late 1800s, wealth was there, and they did weird practices. So we started talking about it because there was a practice that the Victorians followed called mounding, and it happened a lot here in the northern part of Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Specifically, let me explain what it is. The campus of UW-Madison and my campus of Lloyd College, just south of here, had huge burial mounds, effigy mounds. But it was a big thing for the Victorians to do mounding, where they actually came and destroyed the mounds, dug them up to find what was in there, and then just brag about it. That was their pastime.
Wow, or seal the bones.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it just was howdy and the thing to do. So Winfield Mounds is a good one I'd suggest you guys go to. It's DuPage County. They're trying to do what they can to restore them and talk about them. Another thing they did, Mark, this is interesting. They really created the first world's dinosaurs. From the information they had, they were the very first people that built model dinosaurs for museums and natural history organizations that are still followed today. So they may look very primitive, but we have to remember they were done in the time of the late 1800s. But what was interesting, because all these mounds were coming up and people were finding them, not mounds, but the dinosaur stuff, you are right. One Victorian scientist over the next, or one Victorian dinosaur model builder, would attack the other's collection. And so we've lost a lot of history because of the jealousy of who was creating the first dinosaurs. So they blow up the dinosaur rooms. Isn't that terrible? And then one last thing, and I can speak to this first person because I've touched one, not knowing it. So I had an old building that was built around that time down in Hannibal, and we were clearing things out, and a friend gave me this muff, winter muff, and I'm holding it. And all of a sudden I flipped it over. It says made from real human hair.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I threw it, and they said we should bury it in the yard. But yeah, the Victorians had this thing about human hair. Yeah, what's that?
Did you scream?
I did a little bit.
Did you jump up on a couch?
No.
So the hair wouldn't get you?
No, it was creepy. But they still do human hair art. It's in existence. People still collect it. Because human hair, unlike bones that you referred to and skin and stuff, it doesn't go away. Apparently your hair's in the ground even when your body's decomposed. Oh, wow. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird. And then they did these things, one last one, called a mummy unwrapping party. They literally got mummies, and they would unwrap them in public. Mark, that's sick.
And it's interesting. I like it that you're doing a historical boo. We could call them boo-backs. You just did a boo-back. Our first
boo-back. I expect to see that in the byline. The title, the boo-back. And then on the good side of things, this is very good news. So I've had a love-hate with this organization, and that would be Starbucks. Okay. Much like your husband has some disdain for Dunkin'. Yeah. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. First of all, the culture is kind of weird to me. People like doing all this stuff. But then the other weird thing for me is unionization and how they were fighting that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then remember the whole thing where there was some racism that was projected at one of the places. So I've always been love and hate with this place. I love the fact they do unicorn drinks. I think that's kind of fun. But they are phasing out, and hopefully they're the first, all disposable cups, Mark. And what they're going to allow you to do, isn't that crazy? It's coming to every location by the end of next year. So it's happening very fast. In their statement from March 15th, just last week, they talked about no matter what, whether you're driving through or doing mobile orders, you will have to bring your own reusable cups. You can buy them there on the spot if you want one. So their goal is to reduce waste by 50% by 2030. So big shout out to Starbucks. And there you go.
All right. And I got a suggestion, a production. I just go ahead and bing it. Put a little sticky on your computer that says, "Don't bang the keyboard."
Oh, when I'm typing.
Yeah. No, it's just because I can hear it. You don't have a headset on, so you can't hear it. But I can hear it, which means it gets picked up. Our listeners are going to be thinking something's going off in the background there. I'm just a little sticky. Don't bang the keyboard.
Yeah, and I will. I will do that. And then also it probably makes your YouTube thing go like this.
Oh, my gosh. I'm getting dizzy.
No, I got it, Mark. Good comment. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I was thinking of something when you were talking Starbucks. Oh, I think they need an express line, man, because we have a Starbucks at work. At the
you
Giant.
Just want coffee sometimes, you said.
I have a 15-minute break. I don't have 7 or 8 minutes to wait for somebody to get this fancy schmancy shit that they think is fabulous. Just get an express line. I just want coffee.
I would agree with you. Simple things.
Twist tops. Twist tops. My twist top this week is a show that I wasn't into at first, but I'm completely addicted now. It's on Netflix. It's called Elite. It is Spanish. It's about where'd my little twist top go? Oh, there it is. It's a teen soap opera. It's Spanish.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. The whole cast, they're in like this private high school that they all go to. They're young, they're Spanish, they're hot, they're melodramatic, and it's dubbed into English. So I have to get used to that. We watch Squid Game, and I have a problem watching something that's been dubbed because I know they're not speaking. It's not the person I'm watching on screen that's talking. But I've gotten used to it. I'm really into it. Frank and I are hooked. There are 4 seasons of it. There's seasons 5 and 6 are coming out. It's called Elite. If you like soap opera stuff, and I can't say that I was a big soap fan at all. I was never into soap operas, but I'm just hooked. And it's like everything is way over the top, and who's killing who, and they're all got attitude, and they're really good. They're really easy to look at. So, anyways, it's called Elite. It's on Netflix. You got to check it out.
Oh, I will, being the soap buff that I am.
And if you want to hear it in Spanish with English subtitles, you can do that. But for me, I don't want to have to pay attention to what the words on the screen. So we just listen to it dubbed.
Yeah, and you are right. You got to get used to it. They match the mouth pretty good, but sometimes it's harder. I was watching an Israeli drama the other day, and it was really hard to follow so much that I didn't follow the second episode. But yeah, cool. That's a good twist top, Mark.
That's my twist top. You want my listicle, or you want to do? How do you want?
No, I got some twist tops here, and I am definitely going to check that out. So my twist top is actually a pretty cool new thing that's going on. Yeah, that's what it is, Mark. It's supper clubs were big for a while. private ones. In other words, not going out to a supper club, but people were hosting them. Like in different cities, you'd have private supper clubs and people would get together. Or chefs that didn't have a place would do a pop-up in your restaurant, just come and do a supper club. They had their own base of people and they'd bring them in. I did that with my friend Michael O'Boyle down in Louisiana when I had my restaurant Twine. He would come in with his people. I forget what they were. It was all pig food. He did all pork, and they would come and take over the restaurant. I'd do the beverages and he'd do the food. And then later we had a neighboring restaurant that we shared a back door, and it was really cool because they made sushi. So I launched a Saturday night at Twine of sushi night. And so I would literally, someone would come in my restaurant because they wanted to be there because we had wine and beer and they liked the ambiance. And I would say, okay, here's our sushi menu. They'd order, and I'd say, hey, our friends next door make it. But it was a good way to do it. I mean, I didn't have to cook that night or deal with that on our time, and it was cool. But what's going on even here in Madison are these startup restaurants being based in other kitchens. So during the pandemic, restaurants groups specifically are creating new restaurant models, but during COVID, there was no need to launch them. So what they decided to do is launch them using the kitchens of their current restaurants. So for instance, there's a restaurant group here I've talked about called the Nitty Gritty, which is known for its burgers, but they have a new restaurant called Cluck that's not bricks and mortar, Mark. So all you would do, you have to order it through a delivery service. So you go to Grubhub and order your Cluck. So it's like ordering from a restaurant that doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Another one called Ladybird. We're not supposed to talk about it because it's just coming popular. It's a young woman that's a chef, and she does it only on Saturdays for a group of 24 people at Casetta Kitchen and Counter. It's another restaurant here in town that she takes over just for one night so she doesn't have to plant a new one. And then lastly, Level 5 Donuts here in town. Just found out about them. Gluten-free, vegan, and they've been popping up at various coffee houses. They're ready to do their own bricks and mortar and doing a fundraiser right now on GoFundMe. But yeah, so shout out. That's a cool idea. If you haven't experienced them, check for, in your marketplace. You've heard of the concept, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We're going to do it here.
And my other big twist up is...
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, it's a good movie trailer. My friend Greg Marks used to do movie trailer voices. He's an actor in LA. But yeah, this one's out right now. One of the best trailers I saw. And I don't like trailers. I go to movies late because I don't want to see them. It's the trailer for Elvis, the new movie that's being done by Buzz Luhrmann. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's good. Check it out. YouTube.
All right, everybody. Here we come to the listicles, which is the last thing we do before our quotes.
Oh wait, there's one more thing.
Go ahead.
No, not right.
I thought you were being serious.
I'm making you mad this morning, Mark.
Now my listicle, because I said you should watch the show Elite. It comes from Elite Boarding School. It's called Elite. Really, really nice looking people. Anyways, the top 10, the 10 hottest Spanish actors, and I don't mean from Mexico. I mean from Spain. Spanish actors.
Yeah.
It's from Top 10 Trend List. Number 10, and you can look them up. You will not be disappointed by any of them. Number 10 is Miguel Silvestre. Number 9, which is Miguel Herrán, who plays Christian on Elite. I'm going to make a comment about that. Mario Casas is number 8. Number 7 is Maxi Iglesias. Iglesias means church, and Maxi, that's an interesting name for a guy, because these are all guys. I'm just being sexist. I don't care. It's actors. Number 6 is Pau Masso, M-A-S-O. Number 5 is Alex Gonzalez. Number 4 is Jan Cornett, or Jan, probably Jan.
Probably.
Number 3 is Jaime Lorente, who plays Nano on Elite. Number 2 is Itzan Escamilla, who plays Samuel on Elite. And number 1 is Alvaro Morte. So 3 of the top 10 Spanish actors are on the show Elite, and they're all young. They got to be in their 20s and 30s, even though they're playing high schoolers. And this is the only thing that I was quite outraged about. They left out Alberto Vargas, who plays Polo on Elite. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. His name is, he plays Polo. You can't miss him. I mean, he would stop traffic. And he was not in the top 10. But maybe it was based on talent and not looks. I don't know.
Well, you got me curious. I just wrote my friend Linda Kara, sent a link to it because you know me, I don't waste time. I went on Netflix and downloaded it or marked it as a favorite, so I'll watch it.
Watched the first episode. Nice.
Yeah, I got it all done. I'm back. But no, she and I had developed a show called 316 that was going to be Latin American kids soap. So never made it. We were in front of the bigwigs in New York City. So
with Raina's music or something like that.
Yes. Boy, you got a good memory. Is she still doing music?
I don't know because Frank doesn't really stay in touch with very many of his artists.
Well, she was at your wedding reception, and
she's great. I loved her, but I don't know if she's might be doing parties and stuff like that.
Didn't I make her sing to you guys at your wedding or something inappropriate?
Yeah, it was an open bar.
Yeah, it was fun. So you mean there's an open bar, we get stupid, or I get stupid?
You made up for all the people who didn't drink.
Is that what you remember about your wedding event?
Marriage party. It was. Okay, let's move on.
So mine is a while ago on this show. We said look back in the archives or listen back, but we did a thing on about what people that are non-American think of Americans and what they don't like about us. Like one of the examples was they don't understand Halloween. Like, why do we make it such a big celebration? Well, now I found a list provided by BuzzFeed, of course, that says here are the good old American positivity things that people actually like about Americans.
Oh, wow.
Adorable, yes. Here's one. I love how Americans say whole entire when referring to all of something. She said, I mean, we do with the whole entire.
The whole entire thing.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I love when Americans talk about heating water in the microwave. Guess people don't do that anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
Probably true.
I don't hardly ever do it because I don't drink tea.
Oh, yeah, that's true. This one makes sense. I do it. I'm sure we all do it. I love how Americans describe the size of something by a football field. Like, it's like 2 football fields long. Why do we do?
Yeah, I don't do that, but I know a lot of people do.
It's interesting. They love this phrase too. I guess they don't use it in many other places. Are you freaking kidding? I like that phrase too.
Are you freaking kidding? I was never a fan of replacing fucking with frickin' or friggin'. Because I'm used to it, but it used to bother me because it's just say fucking. If you're gonna say fucking, say fucking. But I get it. It's okay.
That's so true. This one, I'll give 3 more. I love when Americans expect foreigners to know where their cities are automatically like, oh yeah, I'm from Chattanooga. Do you know where Chattanooga is?
Yeah.
This guy that wrote that says, man, what in the fuck is Chattanooga? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We think we're all that. Yeah.
Take the Chattanooga choo-choo.
Take the choo-choo. This one is written in. So these were pulled by writers. This one, I love it when Americans say, it's a short 3-hour trip. Bitch, that's the other side of the country from me.
Yeah.
And then lastly, let's look at this one. I love how Americans kind of break down months by their holidays because then it's just November is Thanksgiving, December is called the holiday season, January is New Year's. February is Valentine's Day. March is the Great and Glorious Republic of Ireland. I don't know what they're talking about here. And April is Easter. I don't get it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just silly.
I don't know. But that's it. It's a great list. It's on BuzzFeed about the things people think are cute about that which we say.
Yeah, let's throw some more traffic BuzzFeed's way.
Good one. Just reminding everybody to follow us on social media.
Oh, yeah. Social media stuff.
You can go there. Someone wrote in about the frogs. Last week we posted a picture of that frog that looked like that brown thing. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, now they sent me a little article on that saying 2 newly identified species of see-through glass frogs are found in Ecuador. They did send in a little picture on that. Lastly, they talked about cruises, and they wanted you to know, Mark, because you and Frank talk about your cruises a lot, or you do, that they're doing a Schitt's Creek cruise.
Oh, my God. With the cast?
Yes, in 2023. Let me find it real quick. You can find it online.
You have to send me the link.
I will. There's a Schitt's Creek setting sail next year. Here's how you can get on board. The article just came out in Travel and Leisure. I'll send it to you. So
you have to send it to me.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds fun. It's March 30th through April 3rd of next year, just so you know the dates.
Because I want to read about who's is the cast really on it? You know what I mean? Or is it just a theme, a Schitt's Creek theme? We don't have. Just send me the link.
And I expect you to send the information back in 2 weeks when we have our show again. And then lastly, there's a series out on Netflix. You mentioned it. I'm just relating this because there's memes are popular on social media. They made a whole TV game show / reality show called Is It Cake? Have you seen the teasers for it?
Oh, where they make a shoe, a basketball and stuff.
Yeah, and then they have to guess which is the real one. It's hosted by Mikey Dave from Saturday Night Live. He's a better, sketch comedian, I think, than a host of a show. It gets a little old. He's kind of that annoying guy that's always trying to be funny. But yeah, it's very good. But yeah, so memes are out, and they're like, is this a cake or not? And so like, yeah, it'd be a shoe, and then you'd bake a shoe, and then they had to guess which one was the real shoe, and they'd cut into it. It's, I don't know. Didn't make my twist tops. It just made this because I thought it's interesting how they developed a game show out of a meme. So weird. Yep. All right, let's move on with the quote to the end of the show, Mark.
Quotes. I got my two. And they're not, usually I'll think of something that's related to the show, but maybe it's related to Ketanji, my hero. She got to get her on the court, man. Before, Clarence Thomas was in the hospital yesterday, and I said, that snake is going into the hospital to freak out all the right-wing folks so they won't put her on the court. Because, oh my God, they're going to like, what happens if Thomas croaks, But no, I believe he was actually ill. But whatever happens to him, it can't happen before she's confirmed. Okay, here's my quotes. Quote, to hide feelings when you are near crying is the secret of dignity. That is from Dejan Stojanovic.
Oh, I love it.
And then my second one is, quote, your heart strength is measured by how hard it holds on. Your self-worth and faith is measured by finally letting go. And your peace is measured by how long you don't look back. That is from Shannon L. Adler.
Oh, wow.
I like that one.
Thank you. Those are good. So last week we saw images of former President Clinton and second former President Bush visiting Saints Vladimir and Olha, Ukrainian Catholic Church to show their solidarity for the country. And when they did that, they put sunflowers on the gravesite. Now, sunflowers are a symbol for Ukraine. They're always been a part of their history. They were brought from North America in the early 17th century. And now hot summers and rich soil actually make the plants so abundant over there that they're the #1 provider of sunflowers, Mark, across the world. Did you know this about the sunflower?
No.
It's very interesting. My mom does it because in all her texts she was putting a sunflower on there, her little emoji, and then she explained. So now we all kind of know when we see those images. And so I chose a poem that was written last week, written by a bite-sized poem. These are these little poems, and there's sponsors out there and stuff. But Line Gauthier, or Guccier is probably how you say it. Here's the poem. It's very short. The national flower of Ukraine, yellow for joy in a beautiful landscape that war will destroy. A symbol of optimism, solidarity, and peace. In my garden, sunflowers will be a showpiece. And sunflowers lifting their heads to the sun will always remind me of courage undone. Solidarity to Ukraine.
Solidarity. It's horrible what's happening over there. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Twist number 188. We'll be back in 2 weeks because I'm taking personal day Sunday, and I just want to do all kinds of house stuff and chores. And 4 days to get this garden going, and we will not have a show next week. So
that's fun.
We have an extensive archive for people who can't do without.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with another Twist podcast.
Thanks, Mark. Enjoy your time, and I'm just countdown to retirement, baby.
Bye.
See ya.